Welcome back to our channel as we explore the fascinating moments in history that have shaped the world as we know it. Today, we delve into an engrossing event, the First Opium War. Prepare to be captivated as we uncover the intricate details and significant impacts of this historical conflict. Let's dive right in.
To understand the First Opium War, we must first comprehend the circumstances leading up to it. In the early 19th century, tensions arose between the Chinese Qing dynasty and Western powers, particularly the British Empire. China was flourishing, rich in culture, vast resources, and a thriving economy. However, the British sought to address a trade imbalance and secure a profitable market for their goods. Enter opium, a highly addictive narcotic derived from the poppy plant. You see, the British had a surplus of opium grown in India, and they needed somewhere to offload it. So they turned their sights to China, a land of tea, porcelain, and a population that's always down for a good cup of tea. And what better way to loosen up those tea-loving folks than by getting them hooked on opium? Genius, right? Little did the Chinese know that first puff on an opium pipe would lead to serious addiction problems. Opium use spread like wildfire, and it wasn't long before China's economy and society were feeling the effects. Not only did opium addiction take a toll on the people, but it also drained China's silver reserves. The British, being the clever traders they were, demanded payment in silver for their opium. As a result, China's economy went from bad to worse, and the officials were starting to sweat. You can't talk about the opium trade without mentioning the British traders who made it all possible. These guys saw an opportunity to make a boatload of money and dived in headfirst. British merchants, mostly from the East India Company, played a major role in smuggling opium into China. They were like the cool kids in school, sneaking behind the principal's back and making shady deals with local Chinese smugglers. They knew China had strict trade regulations and that opium was illegal, but rules were made to be broken, right?
If you are interested in important historical events, the best and expensive gift for your loved ones is a personalized scrapbook of all the events that happened on their birthday. Buy from the link below or in the description. And don't thank me.
These traders were making bank off the suffering of the Chinese people, and they weren't about to give up their lucrative business without a fight. And so, the stage was set for the First Opium War, where China would finally face the consequences of its addiction problem, and the British would face the wrath of an empire pushed too far. The Qing dynasty, recognizing the harmful effects of opium on their people and economy, outlawed the drug in 1800. Despite these measures, British traders continued to smuggle vast quantities of opium into China, creating a devastating addiction crisis. This led to widespread social unrest and economic decline, igniting what would become the catalyst for the First Opium War. The climax of tensions occurred in 1839, when Chinese authorities seized and destroyed over 20,000 chests of illegal British opium in Guangzhou, Canton. This incident, known as the Canton Opium Seizure, was the pivotal event that ignited conflict between the two powers. Britain, outraged by the destruction of their lucrative contraband, saw this as a blatant violation of their trading rights. The First Opium War commenced in 1839, with British naval forces bombarding China's coastal cities and ports. The British employed their advanced military technology and superior naval power to overpower Chinese defenses. China's outdated naval fleet was no match for the modern warships of the British Empire, leading to a series of devastating defeats for China. On the British side, 40 ships and 4,000 soldiers entered the war. China had a 900,000-strong army, but scattered throughout the country, and most lacked modern weaponry and combat experience. The total number of troops involved in the conflict on the Chinese side is estimated at 90,000. As British forces marched inland, they encountered fierce resistance, but they had the upper hand due to their better weaponry and military strategy. China struggled to counter the British invasion, and their imperial troops were unable to reclaim key strategic forts and cities. The first major turning point in the war occurred in 1842, when the Treaty of Nanking was signed. This unequal treaty forced China to cede Hong Kong to British control, open several ports for trade, and pay a considerable indemnity. It was the beginning of China's era of unequal treaties, where Western powers exploited China's weakened state to gain economic and political advantages. This treaty also paved the way for the rise of extraterritoriality, where British citizens living in China would be subject to British law and immune from Chinese jurisdiction. Furthermore, the British secured most favored nation status, granting them privileges and advantages over other nations in Chinese trade. The First Opium War left profound and lasting impacts on China, reshaping its relationship with foreign powers and sparking a series of events that would further weaken the Qing dynasty. The unequal treaties signed during this conflict paved the way for further foreign encroachments and territorial concessions. Perhaps most devastatingly, the war revealed the technological and military superiority of the Western powers, exposing China's vulnerabilities and leading to further calls for modernization within the country. It set in motion a domino effect that ultimately culminated in the fall of the Qing dynasty, transforming China's political landscape.
There you have it, the captivating tale of the First Opium War. It serves as a cautionary reminder of the destructive forces unleashed, that greed and addiction intertwine the colonial ambitions. The repercussions of this conflict continue to reverberate in international relations and China's history in this day. Join us next time as we uncover another enthralling chapter in humanity's past. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Stay curious and keep exploring. Bye!